on the Stereo, and I'm Rob. I play guitar.
I'm Dave. I also play guitar.
I'm Matt. I play drums and I do the backing vocals.
I'm Corey and I play bass.
And I'm Chris and I do vocals. The band started as a 4-piece 3 years ago, and then after once we found out what our sound was and what we wanted to do, some members didn't work out, so we got Dave and Chris. They were our newest members, and 2 years ago was when we actually started making things working out. We got our first EP out 2010, Hands on the Stereo, self-titled, and then after that everything's just been working out really well. So these 5 people that we have together now is definitely the team we want to be with, and that's when we had Teamwork Makes the Dream Work this year that came out.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
There we go.
Awesome. Awesome punk.
Awesome
Cool
punk.
punk.
Cool punk. Very cool.
Very cool.
I don't know, we all come from different backgrounds and different influences, so trying to circle in on one specific genre when we're writing and playing together is really hard to begin with. But we just like to have fun when we write, and especially when we play. So whenever somebody usually asks us, we just say we're a rock and roll band.
Yeah, just, living the life.
Teamwork makes the dream work was something that my dad always said as a joke, and then when I mentioned it to these guys, we all thought it was awesome and funny too. And it's pretty funny that that's what stuck as the title, because we look back on it now and it actually describes everything that's happened from the first EP to the second EP, and just the different things that all of us went through individually and as a band, and actually being able to put out another record was a task in itself. And so the title really does fit the name of the EP.
Yeah, and I would definitely say though that along with the title of the EP comes, especially with me that I see it, is our band has really grown to feel a lot like a family in every aspect, like especially when we're touring and we're hanging out, like it just feels like it's almost like brotherly love kind of deal, because especially I'm the youngest and I never had older brothers, so all of them are kind of like an older brother inspiration to me a little bit. You guys bet you didn't know that, but
And fun fact, if you look at the album art, that was actually the studio that we recorded in, but they had to move it, so the 5 of us helped out our engineer destroy the studio and completely just clean it out. So if you look at the album art,
that's the picture.
That's the picture of our studio.
The studio that's torn apart.
That was taken from an iPhone, and then we thought it was a perfect picture because we all worked on it together. Yeah. So we thought it fit.
Also, too, I think part of the question too that was asked was about
the
response. It was the response
yeah.
from the fans. I would definitely say that, along with like the first EP that we put out, people really liked it, and I thought it was. I was really excited that people liked it and stuff like that. We started understanding it. People like know the words and all that stuff, and they come out to shows. But now that we are starting to round out our sound and starting to come up with something that we all like really, really want to pursue, I really feel that the fans are starting to get that vibe from us, and our songs are a lot more relatable because we all wrote them mostly collectively, and people, it seems like at shows there's kids that are a lot more into it and they dance more, they all know the words more, and
which is crazy.
Yeah, and it gets us so all excited because as soon as we know that somebody loves our music, that just it opens up my eyes at least. So
Definitely weird.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling, but it's definitely a weird, strange feeling.
The way we write our music is a lot more collective than some of the other bands that we know of, and it's just everybody has an input to what they want in the song. It's not like one person writes the lyrics. It's we all kind of write the lyrics together because it's what can attach all of us all together. And then when it actually comes to making the music, there's not one person that comes in and says, you do this, we do that. We all put our own input together, and then it just happens to piece together nicely.
Well, we have our really close friends in Prawn, They just recently got signed to Top Shelf,
Oh, yeah.
and they've been our real good friends for probably since we started being a band. Like there are a couple of first shows we ever played were with them. Usually, like we just, we've always talked about touring with them, but it kind of just doesn't work out because like school and all that stuff. But I'd say them.
They're some of our best friends. And then our first tour, we went out with Viking, and we just got really close to them after that tour, and we kept playing with them. And they're gonna put out their full length really soon.
Check that out.
And we're good friends with our buddies Standstill and Lost Blue. Anytime Today, we love playing with our friends bands here. We put out that By Friends for Friends compilation CD that's on our Bandcamp with just a bunch of our friends from around the area for free, and we're probably going to try doing it again in the next few months because we all, especially after this tour, we all really saw the community aspect in making music and local music, and it really just inspired us a whole lot. And so we're gonna really try to bring that back here to New Jersey, because a lot of times it seems that it's hard to find with a lot of the different things that have been going on.
I would say that the sense of musicianship outside of New Jersey is a lot different, because when we were especially in Chicago with our friends in the Island of
Misfit Toys.
They're just being in Chicago and being like, they took us in pretty much under their wing for a week, and we stayed there, and we really got to be immersed into like the entire music scene as a whole, and seeing everybody, the way that they talk and like the way that they treat music and the way that they like all help each other out. It's just really inspiring to see that, and like we come back here and then like we see that sometimes, but it's like we really want that whole like for the music mentality, like it's like it kind of feels like it's starting to lose its luster here in Jersey. We kind of want to bring that mentality back. We want to kind of like liven up the scene a little bit. So.
Well, I guess the bad part of it is that a lot of shows fell through, and we just lost a lot of shows on tour. So
yeah, we had like almost a whole week of the whole southern part of the United States that kind of didn't happen. But
because of that, something good happened, and we were able to stay in Chicago for a whole week with our friends in the Island of Misfit Toys. So they were able to give us a tour. We actually went to the Wicker Park Festival, which is really cool. It's just a festival in the middle of the street. It was intense. That was fun.
Yeah, and I would definitely say that, especially this time going out, it's a really, like, especially when we got to those areas and stuff, like Bob was saying, you just get a good sense of just the country, and you get a good sense of the different types of people that come along with each area. And I mean, I had no clue that when we went like up north to Maine, as soon as we started making our way up, like we played a hardcore show, and we would talk to kids there, and like we were the only pop punk band on there. Sorry, this flies weird. There was a whole hardcore show going on. We happened to play it because it was like one of like the last shows that we managed to just get on, and people there appreciated us. And here it feels like sometimes when we play like a hardcore show,
you have to prove yourself.
You gotta prove yourself. Yeah, you gotta prove yourself, and it feels kind of like you're trying to. You shouldn't be trying to show yourself up at a show. You should be trying to just display your music, because music's not supposed to be, like one genre. There's different things, and then they were all surprised at the fact that we have like pop punk shows or hardcore shows or like indie rock shows. Like they have everywhere up in other areas of the country, they have all different kinds of music going on in the same show, and they're all surprised when I said that, and I thought that was kind of strange. But they definitely appreciated it, and a lot of the places that we played, they all want us to come back. We've made a lot of friends, especially, I guess a mini shout out to Jared, our friend in Ohio.
And Ramona.
And Ramona, his dog, which is
he let us stay at his house twice, like in two different weeks, and that was
such
awesome.
a good guy. He gave us free root beer. He gave us pizza. Like he took us in like the first day.
He gave us some gas money too, which was
yeah.
really nice.
Really nice.
And while we were in Ohio, when we were going back through, we ended up getting to go to Warped Tour. We were trying to play it, but it didn't work out, so we just were able to go and like watch all the bands and not have to worry about like the heat and the crowd and stuff like that. And it was a pretty surreal experience, like actually hanging out and meeting some of the bands like afterwards. Because after Warped Tour, they have these huge bonfires and hangouts all the time.
Yeah, we got to hang out with all of our friends
And like,
the Moving Mountains.
yeah, Moving Mountains helped us out a lot, and it was just that was a big part of it.
That was awesome.
And then the worst part was probably gas.
I thought it was kind of cool though. Like, just a side note was that Fueled by Ramen, they happened to notice our singer carrying one of our cardboard signs.
He stood in front of their tent.
He just wanted to get noticed and just like wanted them to say something. And all of a sudden, like the one guy said he knew us, or like he knew like 2 of our tracks, like he knew Party Baker and Can't Stop Kids Like Us, and it was really cool to just know that like you never know who's listening to your music, and he was from like New Mexico or something. So that was kind of cool.
But we're trying to do a lot of things within the year. We're trying to do a split with some band. We're also we're gonna get out another By Friends for Friends.
And we're also thinking about taking a bunch of our songs that we've all put in and just issue it all on one album. We want to try to do.
We're gonna do that. Hopefully, in a year from now, we'll be on a label.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
We would like to also tour again in the winter. We're trying to do something January 2nd to whatever we can get.
Kind of
right
winter,
now.
spring tour.
It's weird right now because there's a beat. Don't worry. It's weird right now because I have to go back to school and I go to Berkeley, Boston, so I'm gonna be away from them and they're all gonna start writing and like I'm not really gonna have too much say yet until I go back and hang out. But it's definitely gonna be a trip and it's gonna be something definitely inspiring to write about, and I can't wait. I just can't wait to see what's gonna be good for a year now at least.
Like, we're not stopping. We're definitely just moving every time. We're always working on something. And we're just trying to put out as much music as we can. Good music, that's it.
You know that I'm still here searching for.
I'll go first? Okay. Alright, I say ladder match in Transformers. I think that'd be good.
That's pretty good. Till Death would go good at like the end of like some like One Tree Hill show on TV or whatever. That'd be kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
Like one of those surfer shows where like
With a notebook. I guess.
Oh, that reminds me. I always thought that South of the Border should have been like, it sounds like surf punk because it says da-na-na-na-na-na. So it's like, that sounds like rocket power, like just like starting off like when they're on the wave, like that'd be hilarious.
2 years is just not enough.
I'll choose Bruce Springsteen, the whole Rising album, because when that whole album came out, that's when I started really listening to music. And my mom loves Bruce, and I've just always grown up on Bruce, so all those songs, they have so much good production to them, and they're just so good, and they have like all different kinds of,
and it's Bruce.
it's just
It's
Bruce.
New Jersey,
It's just
like, it's Bruce.
Freehold. Like, come on, that's like an hour away. Love
Hell
it.
yeah.
It's so good.
I'm good. How about you?
No, I know.
Yeah, alright.
Brand new Deja Entendu is one of the best albums ever. Like, it's perfect. They all pick on me because I'm probably way too into that band than I should be. But every time I listen to it, it still blows me away. And the last time I saw them, they played some of the stuff that I've never heard them play, and I was like, it was so good. It was so good. But yeah, that's one of my favorite albums of all time.
And the album I would have to listen to for the rest of my life would be Sirens and Condolences by Bayside. They were my first real show that I went to, and they just completely blew me away, and I was just a fan ever since. But that album definitely stuck to me most. I loved it, and I could definitely stick with that album for the rest of my life. Not a problem.
Already planned for zombie invasions, and I like when I used to work at Urban, we used to have these talks about it, about zombies just coming to the store. We all already said we would all have baseball bats, so I would find some large object and I would be ready to fight. I'm actually still waiting.
I think Kunha would get eaten first.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
all he has
Chris
is a
would,
microphone.
Chris would like
He's
forget
done.
something. He would like forget something, like wait, forgot my contacts, and just like that.
But he knows like strategy though.
Yeah, but I feel like he would forget it all. And
Yeah,
they
like,
would go after
every
the person
zombie
with
game-
the most facial hair, and that's him. And he would
That's
get eaten.
true. That's
and then
true.
it would probably be me. If we're going by beards, that's the order. And then
I guess.
Corey, and then you.
then Matt would be last.
Yeah, so you're good either way.
And Matt's a contractor, so he has chainsaws and all that stuff too.
I'm prepared. I'm telling you, I'm decked out.
That's true.
I'm ready to go.
So Chris would get eaten first.
Yes. He's actually not here because he was attacked by a zombie.
Sorry, Chris.
D1.
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 Tear it up.
And if we had to say something else, it would be.
Thanks. Thank you for caring about us and listening to our music.
We love you a lot.
That's what Chris Cornell would say.
That's
if
definitely
he wasn't
what
eaten
he
by
would
a
say. So
zombie.
I turn my back and I'll call the wolves. You use excuses that went straight from my throat.
we're Hands on the Stereo from Bergen County, New Jersey. Stay
Stay
ruthless.
ruthless.